Keep watching and learn how to make a 3-layered bow perfect for every holiday. Hi, I'm Sharon with Designer DIY, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this 3-layered bow. It's perfect for on a tree topper, on a gift, on a wreath. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more of our tutorials. Here is everything that you need for this bow. We have our 3 ribbons. The bottom layer is going to be 3 yards. The middle layer is going to be 2 2/3 of a yard. And the top layer is going to be 2.5 yards of ribbon. Then we have 1 piece of our bow wire. We have a little center ribbon, which is about 6 inches long. And then of course your fray check, you don't want to forget that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the top layer. So you get that ready and then have your bow wire handy. Now for this bow, we are going to do 20-inch tails. So the first thing you do is with the ruler, you measure out to the 20-inch mark, and I keep my thumb there. And then for the loops, we want 11 inches for this top layer. So we measure to the 11-inch mark. That's about how big you want our loop. The more you do it, you won't have to measure each loop, you can just eyeball it. But it makes it easier this way. So if that's where we want our first loop, you measure another 11 inches, and that's where it's going to overlap. And then from where my thumb is, measure about another 11 inches. That's going to go under. And then this one's going to go over the top. And if the tails aren't perfect, it doesn't matter because we're going to trim them at the end. You have it like you want it, you're going to bunch it in the middle, hold it with my hand, and your wire, I fold in half so there's a loop in the middle. I'm going to hold that with my thumb and bring the ends around the bow and put both ends of the wire through the little loop so it's like a slip knot around the center of the bow. And just kind of tighten it and just do a single knot. We're going to leave this wire attached, and then for each additional layer we just add it directly onto that and then use the same wire to just tie a little knot. So you grab your next ribbon, and we still want 20-inch tails, so you measure to where the 20-inch mark is, and then for this you want your loops about 13 inches. So you make your first loop, and then from the center point, that's where you measure another 13 inches about, and that crosses over. And the actual shape of this, it's almost like one of those awareness ribbons, and it's like this. That's the easiest way to kind of do it. This layer, 15, goes underneath for that loop, and then it comes out this side and you cross it over. And you can kind of eyeball it to make sure your loops look proportioned. And then where the center is, you're just going to bunch it up. Then we are going to add it directly onto the back of that first layer we did. Just do a single knot. This ribbon's a little stiffer, so I'm going to do a double knot for this one, just so it doesn't come undone. All right. Now for the bottom layer. We're going to measure out to the 20-inch mark, and then for these loops I want them about 15 inches. So you measure to the 15, and that's where you make your first loop. I always flip it over, it's easier. And from where the center is, measure about 15 again, and you make your second loop. And then for this next loop that's going to go down here, measure another 15 inches and bring that one kind of goes underneath, comes out the other side, and you flip it over. And let me measure that a little bigger. And again, you can kind of eyeball it, make sure your loops are about the same size. If they're not perfect, it doesn't have to be extremely precise. Where the center point is, you bunch it, and you're going to add it again right on the back of that last layer we did. And we're going to tie it with a good double knot. And then we'll add the center ribbon around it and fluff. Just kind of make sure it lays good. Make sure all the layers you can see. Alright, so you grab your little center ribbon. It's going to go around all the layers, and we're going to be gluing it on the back side, just kind of overlapping the ribbons, and we're going to glue on the back side. And I keep my wire attached so that we can tie it right onto the wreath. Trim these a little bit shorter. Add a little bit of glue to one side of that ribbon and glue it onto the back, and then we're going to add glue to this side and flap it right over. And I have the piece of wires kind of coming out each side. And let that dry really good. And that's why it's important also make sure you're using wired ribbons so that you can fluff up the loops really well. And then now that we've finished the center, we're going to finish off the tails. First thing I'm going to do is kind of even them out. When it's hanging, you won't be able to tell anyway that it's precise, but and then I like the little dovetail look. So we're going to fold each ribbon in half like that. We're going to cut at an angle. And then after we cut all of the tails, then we're going to go through and fray check each of the ribbons. Okay, so now that all of the ends are cut, we're going to go through and fray check all the edges so they don't fray. You want to use fray check. It's available on our site. What you want to do is just barely squeeze and just run it along all the cut edges of the ribbon. And it's not sticky or anything. It'll dry clear. It'll keep everything from fraying. All right. Dry in like 30 seconds, but there you have it. That is our 3-layered bow.